Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cave Trolls React. This one's going to be the Final Fantasy VII Remake gameplay trailer. You ready?
Yes, I am.
I'm
so pumped.
See, you stole my goddamn words.
I did.
So I wrote down some quick notes. Real quick, I want to talk about the voice actors first.
I love they kept the voice actors for the only characters that spoke in Advent Children.
I mean, can you really say Cloud brooded?
No, he did, but he was damn good at it.
We're not 100% sure, but it definitely sounds like Steve Burton as Cloud and Bo Billingsley.
Yeah, and I'm usually good at telling voice actors by ear.
Yeah, same here. It sounds like them. They sounded good. Obviously, it's not localized yet, so the dialogue,
there were a few dialogue choices that were a little bad, but oh well.
Yeah, so the dialogue might change, but
completely overshadowed by gameplay.
Completely overshadowed. And I liked how it almost opened similar to the graphics demo they did on PS3.
Yeah.
Back when we thought there was going to be a remake, it opened up similarly. It opened up with the music for that first stage. When you're going to the reactor, the Mako reactor.
Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah, that sounded really good. Other notes before we get to gameplay. What did you think of the art style? Did you think it looked like?
The only thing that really bothered me was Barrett's sunglasses.
I didn't understand the sunglasses either. I don't remember him having sunglasses.
Yeah, he didn't.
Okay,
as far as I know.
Also, it's nighttime.
Those pixels were kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. It is nighttime in that, but so that did bother me a little bit too. Also, like you're pointing out to me in the art for FF7, Cloud's arms are pretty small, holding that Buster Sword, but they looked a little off to me in the original video. Like they looked extra weak.
I feel like it was just kind of the silliness.
I agree, but like they looked sinewy, like kind of like yours. You know what I mean?
I could be Cloud Strife.
You could be Cloud Strife, if this is any indication. I thought the combat looked really good when they were first starting. When they were running around, the soldiers looked sweet.
Yeah.
But when it first started up, obviously to me, this is running off the FF15 engine. What do you think?
It definitely looked very similar to it.
Okay.
After playing it, the demo that came with what was it, Type O on the PS3 or 4.
PS4, yeah.
It was. I just got to go back to that demo and say it was so much fun. Super excited for FF15.
Right. How did you like the combat system in that? Is it similar to Kingdom Hearts where you click attack to attack?
Yeah, it was very similar to that.
Okay.
But the only thing that really bugged me about it was the lock-on system. I had to the way it was implemented in the demo, which I hope they change. You had to hit 2 buttons to lock onto one thing.
That's similar to Kingdom Hearts 1. You had to do something similar. So I can see where that gets frustrating.
Yeah, it was like R2 and L1.
Okay. Did you play the patched version of the demo or did you play the original demo?
Pretty sure it was the original version.
Okay, so they might have patched that too because other people have had that complaint. But overall, like I said, it did look similar in gameplay-wise at least. And it had that command bar like Kingdom Hearts or Crisis Core, which is probably a little bit more
and
more
about
accurate.
like the art style, they even kept like the helmet design for the soldiers from Crisis Core.
Oh, okay, looked the same in that?
Yeah, which was it was easily taken from the original FF7, but like, it's just that design.
It looks really similar in 3D. What did you think? So you played Crisis Core a lot. Did you think it looked gameplay-wise similar? Like it's got a similar system Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts.
It did look similar, but way better flow.
Oh, obviously.
So many improvements on a system that was already okay.
Right. So if you guys are a little unfamiliar, which I hope you aren't because Kingdom Hearts is amazing. With Kingdom Hearts, you had your command bar, and by clicking X, was that the attack button? X lets you click on whatever command you had selected. Obviously, the top one is attack, and then as you went down, you had your magic, your items, your control over your party.
Yeah.
Now, in FF15, were you able to ask your partners to join in on the combat?
Not that
target your enemy.
Not that I know of.
No. Okay.
But I did have a limited time playing that because it wasn't on my system.
Right. I worried a little bit about that in FF15 because part of Final Fantasy to me is controlling a party.
Yeah.
Selecting who you want to fight with is really big in this game.
That was one of the biggest draws I had on 13.
Yeah. Let's not get into 13.
So my eyes already starting to twitch. So let's get away from that.
When you played the FF15 gameplay demo, did you feel like that detracted from this?
No, actually, no.
You felt it was solid when you were playing it? You didn't miss not playing as the other people? Or controlling the entire party, rather?
Not really, because like that game does have a different atmosphere.
Okay, it feels more like an action game with people around you.
It's like because you're the prince, and like they're sort of like your entourage bodyguards.
Right.
It's not necessarily a party, but people that you know.
I got you. So in FF7, the reason why I bring this up is because it obviously showed you switching to controlling Barrett.
And that just looked awesome.
That looked really sweet. So
because if I wasn't able to run around and shoot people with my arm gun, I would have been really mad.
Well, see, part of the problem I had with it originally when I heard rumors of them running off the FF15 engine was an FF15 you only control Noctis. If this, I mean, I would be happy playing as Cloud in a pseudo action game, kind of like F15 or Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to play as the party, or at least control everybody. So if I can't play as them directly, command them, say, hey, I need Barrett covering fire.
Yeah, or like do like a scripting type
right,
thing.
exactly. Similar to how you could in Kingdom Hearts, selecting what your party did, or FF12 might be more accurate.
Right.
How you could set up what they were doing in fights.
I always think of Dragon Age 1 when it comes to controlling party members.
Right. Very similar.
It was a very condition-based system. Like, if this happens, they do this.
Yeah, if then what?
Yep.
Yes, exactly. So if they have something like that goes along with switching characters, I think it'll be a really smooth combat experience. Now, combat-wise, when we were looking at it, it looked like you could activate their normal abilities, so the normal attack combos, but then also their limit breaks.
Yeah, there had Barrett doing what was it called? Big Shot?
It looked like Big Shot
Yeah.
when they took control of him. And then when we saw Cloud, it looked like he did Clim Hazard when he flew up in the air. Unless that's some sort of Omni slash early.
Yeah, it was very blue.
Very blue, exactly. And then he looked like he did Sonic Rush as well when he rushed in like that. So the combat looks fun. The way they were attacking looked very similar to, like I said, when they first showed FF15 and they were fighting the that Bahamut monster.
Yeah, the Behemoth.
The Behemoth, yeah, not Bahamut.
Oh, that was a hell of a moment.
Yeah. Exactly, and when those original trailers, they fought him rather in a city rather than a forest.
Yeah.
So it looked like that. I mean, other than that, they didn't show much.
That's one thing that I loved about 15, that encounter.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like, oh, hey, another random encounter, just like 15 behemoths have been killed.
Right.
Okay, it was this big freaking behemoth in the woods, and you have to hunt it down.
I mean, I was already excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
When they announced it, obviously, I freaked out. Do you think that it's living up to the hype? I wasn't expecting to see gameplay anytime soon.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, yes. Yes. 20 times yes. Limit break, yes.
How do you feel about it being different than the original, where it's not going to be a traditional RPG?
I mean, I was originally disappointed because that was sort of like the spirit of that game for me, but also it gives me a whole whole new chance of experiencing that world in a completely different way.
Right. From the ground level, essentially, because you had the isometric view almost in a lot of times, or
you were very, very top down or angled.
Exactly. And then I love the combat in it. Like I'm a JRPG fan, so the turn-based combat was really essential to that series. But if FF15, I know we keep going back to that, but if that is any indication, this is going to be that kind of system, and people are happy with it.
Yeah.
So do you think overall old fans are going to be excited about it?
I hope so. I mean, if they're not, they're just butthurt.
The one thing I couldn't tell that was happening there, direct attacks against people who don't like the things you like aside, I couldn't tell if they were using materia or not.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about a lot there.
Yeah.
I didn't see a whole lot of spell casting, although I did see Cloud's sword like glow red at one point, which was different than his blue for the limit breaks.
Limit breaks, okay.
Which led me to believe that maybe like a fire spell would be more weapon based.
It could be. The other thing that since this is the first level that might come to mind is they didn't have materia yet.
Yeah,
you didn't get materia for a little while, so it could be that it could just be a linear progression thing. Like they didn't have the materia at that point in the game, and also this is really early on. You know? This is early combat. We're lucky to be seeing what we saw.
And I liked the way Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse looked.
Yes, I thought their art direction looked awesome.
Yeah,
the bandanas.
It was very close to how you imagined that sprite looking.
Yes. Although I think an homage with this trailer would have been cooler, like have them transition from the crappy sprites from Final Fantasy VII to this full 3D art.
Like Sprite Cloud jumping off the train, and then the screen like goes staticky like it does when Cloud's head messes up, and then it shows them in full graphics.
I think that would have been awesome. I think that would have been a cool transition.
Me and a friend of ours from where we used to live.
Yeah.
Me and him would talk about that sort of thing for a long time.
Just that kind of transition.
Yeah.
But I'm not a director. I think the trailer did look cool. It was a little disorienting at first. Like, why did you just have him running away from soldiers? But again, this is probably just what they have in engine so far for cut footage.
And that was also the beginning of the game.
Exactly. The one
Spoilers.
final thing. Spoilers for the beginning of the game. The one final thing I do want to mention is they had the Scorpion boss.
Yes.
That was so cool. They didn't show him fighting it, but they did show it jumping into frame, and it looked awesome, and it looked formidable.
Yeah. It was a lot scarier than the janky mech from
Although,
the
I
first
mean, the graphics aside, when I was a kid and I first played that was intimidating.
Oh, yeah, it was terrifying at the time.
But are you excited?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Mini stroke aside, yes.
So the music was awesome. Voice acting looks good, or sounds good rather.
Definitely.
The graphics look good. The combat, obviously it lagged a little bit for the particles, that happened.
Right.
But it did look like Final Fantasy VII to me. I'm buying it.
Yeah.
It
looked like what Final Fantasy VII would have been if they had like, not Crisis Core, but the Advent Children. Like if they had that capability at the time.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You know what? One final note for Advent Children is his hair. Cloud's hair. It looked like Advent Children hair.
It was really good.
Do you think that they're going to emo him up for the first game?
I don't think so.
I worry about that because Advent Children was such a downer.
Yeah.
For Cloud, and Kingdom Hearts portrayed him as a loner and upset, which he could be in Final Fantasy VII at points. But a lot of times he was happy-go-lucky. You know.
Let's mosey.
I mean, cross-dressing.
I want to know how they're going to handle that.
I hope they still handle it the same way because I like that idea.
And when this mention of FF7 Remake first came out, a lot of people on the internet were like, how are they going to handle the beginning of the game? Because, I mean, terrorism is kind of a bad thing nowadays.
Oh, of course. And we just had another terrorist attack, and that could be a rough thing to try to portray, but that is the heart of what got him into that group, He was a mercenary.
Yeah.
And they were trying to save the planet by destroying the Mako reactor.
Yeah, I mean it's
and it looks like that's what they're going to do this time too.
Yeah,
also there's a second attack too on Shinra Tower.
Yeah, they did 3 attacks because they attacked 2 reactors and then went straight for the tower.
Yeah, so with the terrorism, I don't know how they're going to handle that, but it looks like they're not changing it. Yeah. So far, I mean, we don't have anything on the whole Don Corneo thing, but the attack looks like it's still happening. In the FF7 port for the PS4, that you get an achievement for persuading Corneo, so that might still be intact, but we'll see, and stay tuned. Yeah.